Morning, bro. So day 5 of this protocol, developing a superhuman brain and body. And just today I was doing like this weird practice where I was filling out like a document on my PC called The Alchemy of Self. An entrepreneur named Sam Ovens made this super famous like online course a few years ago. And in one of the videos, he basically talked about creating a new version of yourself to pretend you are that guy right now so that you can achieve the goals that you want. Basically, what you want to achieve in life, you can't actually achieve them. You can only achieve what you have in your life right now. The goals that you have, to achieve them, you can't do it. You need to become that version of you who has those things. So many people on self-improvement, on this path of becoming more productive, becoming successful, they fight this uphill battle trying to make their current selves accomplish the thing that they want to get in the future. So maybe for you right now, you want to improve your brain, you want to improve your body, you want to be more productive, you want your brain to be able to comprehend like deeper, more intellectual topics. You can't do that. You can only do what you have in this like around you right now. And so what we need to do is create a new identity of ourselves and focus on becoming that version of ourselves rather than focusing on becoming like doing anything else. So let me give you another example. I speak to many guys who are 15, 16, 17, 18 years old and they're struggling with nofap. And the reason why is because let's imagine Jeffrey speaks to me, right? I'm going on a self-improvement coaching call with young Jeffrey. And he's complaining, he's so sad, he's miserable, saying like, oh, but I keep fapping and I just keep fapping. And, I tried and then I had a full on like streak and then I relapsed and then I just did it 3 more times in the same day. I can't get consistent in nofap. What do I do? I'm going to tell him, yeah, you can't get consistent in nofap, Jeffrey. Because to get consistent in nofap, you need to be the person who is on nofap. You are Jeffrey. You are not this guy. And so what you need to do is basically like cause the death of Jeffrey. You need to kill Jeffrey and become Jeffrey 2.0. You need to be this next version of yourself. So let me remind you of this. You've gotten onto like self-improvement, watching educational content, going to the gym. You remember those times when you used to change so much and improve so quickly that you would actually look back and almost cringe at yourself like every month, every 2 months of like how you just were. Those were times when you were rapidly updating your identity. When you first discovered the gym, you only would have gotten consistent if you started to form this new identity of yourself as like this kind of Chad guy who goes to the gym, who's got muscle, who's a bodybuilder now. The guys who understood, like learned about the concept of going to the gym and building muscle, but never got consistent in it, it's because they're still trying to go as their current selves. So even though this series is on more of like the biological, physical health of our brains and bodies, I actually do, but like I really want to integrate a lot of the psychology behind that because I think that's a very important part. And this is some of like the weird, powerful advice that I've given to many guys that it's helped them. And I realized just this morning and yesterday that I've actually slacked on this kind of thinking myself, of doing more of the self-image visualizations, the affirmations, the new identity creation. I'm guessing that if you've watched like 3 minutes of this video now, you kind of understand what I'm talking about and you probably know that this stuff is actually true and effective. Unfortunately, like, what do you think? Like half of the people have already clicked off because it just seemed weird for them. They wanted to hear some new little morning routine habit that they can get into. Those things can be nice, but the biggest, like the fastest change that you're going to have in your self-improvement journey is just forming a new identity of yourself. So I'll walk you through this practice right now because you may as well create a new identity now as we're going through this series. Because if you've been following along for the last few days at this like Superhuman Brain and Body series that we're doing on this channel, chances are you really do want to actually create almost like the 2.0 version of yourself right now. You want to create that version of yourself whose brain is sharp and your body is strong. You want to be able to comprehend those like deep intellectual topics. You want to be able to articulate the things that you think of. You want your brain to work with absolutely no fog so that when you wake up in the morning, you could smash off such powerful and valuable work that's almost like a week of your current productivity right now. You want your body to feel like it used to when you were a little bit younger. You want to, quite frankly, you want to wake up with a rock hard dick, because I do. You don't want to have any bloating in your stomach anymore. For a lot of like the Indians, Pakistanis, we have this like horrible gut bloating because all of us are just eating food that's not even right for us. Many white guys and black guys have that as well. And think about how mad just that one thing is. You've lived your entire life without actually really knowing what foods that you should eat. You've ate the foods that your parents bought, but they've been brainwashed by society. They've been brainwashed by like the doctors who didn't even know what they were talking about 10, 20 years ago. They've been brainwashed by the supermarkets that have got all these products there which seem healthy when they say like low fat, low calories, and what they actually mean is triple sugar. Brainwashed by governments that have spread this message that the food pyramid is the right thing and we should eat 50% of our calories from like fucking grains, from bread. And so your entire life, you've literally not even known the food that you should eat. And so right now, actually, I'm going online. I want to find a glucose monitor. So I'm looking at a couple different websites, and I'll tell you what they are right now. You can search for Zoe, like the name Zoe, Z-O-E, and search like Zoe glucose monitor. And there's also Level. Just search like Level glucose monitor. These two websites I'm looking at. I don't think Levels is available in the UK, so I can't get that one. And Zoe's is already like sold out, and it'll come back in like January. And I don't want to wait that long. So I'm gonna have a look at some of the sites. If you know one, let me know. Basically, from what I understand, what this is, a glucose monitor is something that you'll attach to your arm, and it'll track like changes in your blood based on what you're eating. So you'll eat something, and you'll see on the app what happens to your blood, and it'll just kind of tell you like, is it a good thing or a bad thing what you've just ate for you. Just that one step of now eating the same food that you normally eat, and it ends up saying like, oh wait, this meal's actually not good for you. You've just had a massive glucose spike, and you're probably going to be tired like 45 minutes from now. And imagine how mad that is, that you probably ate that meal like for 6 months in a row without realizing. And so I want to order one of these. I'm trying to find one which is still like available here in the UK and available now. But there's actually a few products that I'm looking into right now, which I'll tell you about. So it's the Zoe one, and that's available in January for the blood glucose. And I'm just wondering, should we keep this video just about diet, or well, I'll tell you every health thing that I'm looking at. There's one called Adam Health, and the URL is talktoadam.com, and this is a erection health tracker. So basically you put on this little ring over your pee at nighttime. It's tracking on the app and everything, and then you go to sleep and you'll wake up and it'll show you like how many erections you had for a night. And you know, it'll show you like some kind of score to show you if this is healthy or not. Like, you're supposed to have quite a lot of nighttime erections, and if you don't, then it's like a bad sign. I'm a little bit worried because it's got some kind of like signal in it, and you're basically putting it right on your PP. So I'm not going to use this like often. Maybe I'll use it for like a week to kind of see like a sort of baseline stat, and I'll go and do a bunch of like penis exercises and everything, and then I'll retrack it like for a couple of days afterwards to show like clear progress. And my friend Charlie told me about one which is called Muse. This is for meditation, which is so interesting. So if you search for Muse, M-U-S-E, Muse meditation, search for that on Google, and it's very interesting. It's like, it's a device that you'll wear on your head, and it'll pick up on like the sensors of your brain, your heart, whatever, and you meditate whilst you have it on, and it'll basically quantify like how good you are at meditating. It'll give you more metrics to track, because when you like, it's awesome, by the way, to be able to track like numbers. The issue is like the number that you can track without any kind of actual tracker is just how many minutes you've meditated, and that can be nice, but that's like tracking like how many sets of bench press you've done in your life. You would assume that more sets of bench press would equal a bigger chest, but not necessarily, because there could be someone who's done 1,000 sets of bench press, but he's never actually taken them close to failure, or his form hasn't really been that good, or he hasn't been using the right weights. And then There's someone who's done only 200 sets of bench press, but he's really optimized it and he actually makes better gains. Just tracking volume, like most meditation apps do, it's not that effective. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like a nice tracker that you've got on your phone, nice. But something like this is next level. And so I'm going to order one of these, try it for like a few minutes a day, 10, 20 minutes. And I think that'll be like really, really good for me. Because I realized, I said this in yesterday's video, I have quite a lot of the symptoms of ADHD. I never really looked into it before, but every time I used to hear about it, I used to think like, oh yeah, like, you know, that's kind of like what I've got. It's not something that I've like ever been diagnosed with. I'm not going to go to the doctor for it. My parents never took me to the doctor for something like that when I was younger, which I'm very glad about, because I'm sure they would have put me on like a bunch of medication, which would have lowered testosterone or some bullshit. But I've realized that this like brain pattern that I have, which you might be able to relate to, which is that you get hyper focused in something that you care about, but when it's something that you're not so interested in, you just struggle to focus tremendously on it. And so that hyper focus can be a gift and a curse, because I can work for 12 hours a day and it's actually fun for me, but that also means that I'm going to neglect my relationships, my health. I'm going to neglect getting like sunlight and even drinking and eating. So it can be a double-edged sword. And one of the ways that you can remedy some of the symptoms of ADHD and increase your attention span is meditation. But you know, these sort of micro things that happens in the day, like your ability to focus on the work task you're doing, that's very important. My mind is actually on the more longer term thinking that I hate being like an entrepreneur with ADHD, where every like month or so I want to change up my entire business. This is why like I'm so excited for this series on Superhuman Brain and Body, and it might be like, you know, months long, this series, because I see that the constraint of my business right now is me as the entrepreneur. Like, I'm the constraint, because I'm bringing like these personality traits, this character flaw of like only being short-term thinking into the business. And so if you're in Adonis School, if you know someone who's in it, it's like we've changed so much random shit. I still think Adonis School is sick and the guys in there are really happy. Adonis School is kind of like my paid program, but I've randomly changed so many things in there because of this kind of ADHD thing, where like I'll, you know, be on a line, like we're at A, we're going to B, we're making progress to it, and randomly I'll get the idea that B is not even that important for me personally, not even for the product, but like for me. So for example, in Adonis School, for a long time we were teaching like how to make money online, and I hit this like philosophical, spiritual thing in my own life after making over $100,000 per month for like most of the months of this year, that I started to think like, oh yeah, money's not even that important. It's not going to change your life. You need to get into more spirituality, mental health, physical health, and everything. And then when I felt like that, I just went in and ripped apart like a bunch of the things inside of Adonis School and changed it all up and everything. And I look back at it now with fucking shame and embarrassment, because you being the constraint of your own business is like, it's a slap in the face. You're not even having business problems. You've just got like personal problems that reflect in business. And so this is why I've wanted to build this superhuman brain and body, because I want my business to be the reflection of an entrepreneur whose body, like whose belly doesn't bloat. I want my business to be the reflection of an entrepreneur whose brain is sharp and he doesn't have brain fog. So if you're trying to make like a business right now, or maybe you're studying, or maybe you're writing your dissertation, this is a weird concept, but I want you to imagine this. Let's say you're writing a dissertation as a student, or maybe you're like a beginner entrepreneur making money, wanting to make money online, right? Your business or your dissertation will literally resemble the physical stuff that's happening inside of you right now. You will write like a limp dick dissertation if you don't wake up with morning wood. You will have a company, a product, which is the equivalent of the pile of clothes at the side of your room, because you're too tired to even just pick them up, because your brain's not even sharp enough to kind of set that standard for yourself. And I can't even like fucking bullshit, bro. My room's not very clean right now, so I won't lie to you. And this reflects in a lot of things that you do. It'll reflect in your relationship. Your relationship will be kind of like the one where your like clothes are on the floor. It's a hard truth to swallow, because I've got clothes on the floor right fucking there. So I feel like an asshole saying this, but I'm basically saying this to myself. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying this out loud because it's almost accountability for myself. What you are in your brain and your body, and also the environment and the standards that you keep, will come across in your love life. It'll come across, of course, in your children, in your company, in your studies, your dissertation, your homework, your assignments, everything. And so the first thing that we can start with is our own brain and bodies. That's why I think that this is such like a brilliant series for us to really focus in on. And doing this little document, it's basically like it's just a Google Doc with me just writing things that I want to be like in the future. I just kept on repeating in it superhuman brain and body. Like, so for example, I've got a page of like what kind of person I want to be. I want to have a superhuman brain and body. I want to feel supremely healthy and full of vitality. I want my thinking to be extremely sharp. I stick to a diet that's perfectly optimized for my brain and body. I don't get brain fog or bloating, you know, things like this. And imagine like multiple pages of that. Then I've got a page for like family. I have a healthy, stable, peaceful home life and everything. Then I've got a page for my actual company. My company is a giant form of my gift to others. My content has helped 10 million guys improve their health and become productive members of society. Adonis Gang, which is like my $5 a month community. Adonis Gang has helped tens of thousands of young men make friends. Adonis School has helped thousands of men achieve the Adonis lifestyle like I have. So Adonis lifestyle is like something I'm kind of creating, which is kind of like what I believe is like the sort of ultimate dream outcome from like self-improvement. Imagine that like beautiful countryside home where you've got your children there with your beautiful feminine woman, and you've got other families who are living around you, and you've created like this compound, and you're all super healthy and active, and your children are almost like little athletes, and you're so healthy that you can bend down and play with them without getting like knee pain or back pain or anything. You work online and you have purposeful work, you know, the kind of lifestyle which I know that many men actually think that that would be like a 10 out of 10 life. Add in like, you know, the brotherhood, the male friends that you grow with, adventurous activities, all that stuff, right? And that's what I've just written down, like basically what I want to achieve over the next few years, and like who I am, who is Hamza 2.0. These are the things that I have. Like I'm pretending I've got these right now, so I'm writing like I have a superhuman brain and body. I feel supremely healthy and full of vitality. And the idea is I'm going to write this down, refine it a little bit over the next few days, and I'm just going to keep recapping it. Whilst I was writing down this document of like what are the most important things that I want to create in my life, superhuman brain and body just kept on coming up. In fact, it makes me want to like almost, I don't know, this is the same entrepreneur ADHD, but it makes me really want to focus a lot of my sort of attention in business. Business is kind of like my vessel to impact the world. It makes me want to focus a lot of that on superhuman brain and body. I teach a lot of topics on the main channel. I teach masculinity, dating, making money, all these things, and those things are really nice. But if you help someone to develop a superhuman brain and body, a brain that can think sharp and a body that is physically strong and healthy, they can then go on and do whatever they want. So imagine if I could help 10 million guys. You know, for me, it's always been vague because it's like, oh yeah, help millions of guys get onto self-improvement. But then self-improvement is almost this vague subject of like this, you know, 50 things, 100 things in there. So it's never been like an easy thing to kind of focus on or quantify. But imagine if you helped 10 million guys develop a superhuman brain, superhuman body, and also basically like implanted the morals and beliefs and character traits, so they'd use these things, which could be weapons, as ways to help the world. You give someone the mind, you give someone the body, the health, and then the morals so that they use it in the right way. That to me sounds like a mission that I could stick to for years. Because often when I make a bunch of videos on like how to text girls and how to make money and stuff, I often kind of look at it and I'll lose a lot of passion with it, because I'll step out of it and think, is this my impact on the world? I'm almost making like the marketplace of entrepreneurs even more competitive. I'm making the sexual marketplace even more competitive. But just this is like the baseline. It's 100% certain that if you can help someone have a healthy brain, you're gonna have a positive impact on the world. That's what I hope to do with this series. And yeah, we'll see how far we can take it. I feel very good about this. See you tomorrow, bro. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.